Have you ever noticed how certain women never flirt in obvious ways? They don't rely on winks, exaggerated laughs, or overtly physical gestures. Instead, their approach is quieter, more deliberate. They become observers, quietly studying your awareness, your reactions, and your presence in the room. And when you're a man over 50, this dynamic shifts even further. Women, whether they're in their 30s, 40s, or 50s themselves, behave differently around a mature man. They don't want to look needy. They don't want to seem overly available or desperate for attention. They are keenly aware of the stereotype of the lonely older man and the gold digger, and they will go to great lengths to avoid triggering those assumptions. So instead of sending direct signals, they ask specific things. And here's what most men don't realize, and it's the core truth of this entire discussion. When a woman feels genuinely attracted to an older man, she almost always asks two very precise questions. They function like hidden messages, little encrypted notes placed right in front of you, masquerading as casual conversation. If you read them literally, you miss the message entirely. But if you understand the code, the entire landscape of your interactions changes. Before I explain these two questions and the psychology behind them, I want to invite you to do me a quick favor. If this topic resonates with you, if you've ever had that sinking feeling of realizing a woman was interested in you only after the moment had passed, tap the like button and leave a comment with the word aware. Your interaction helps this message reach other men who need to hear it, men who are walking through life missing these subtle but powerful invitations. Many men over 50 hold a deep-seated belief that they're becoming invisible. They look in the mirror and see the gray hair, the lines on their face, and they assume that younger women, or even women their own age, no longer see them as viable romantic partners. They feel they've been relegated to the role of the friendly neighbor, the mentor, or the background character in someone else's story. But that belief is completely false. It's a cultural myth that has no basis in psychological reality. In truth, mature men often become more attractive than ever once they understand how female psychology actually works. The confidence that comes with age, the emotional stability forged by experience, the financial and practical security, these are powerful attractors. The real issue isn't women, it's misinterpretation. It's living your life on autopilot, assuming she's just being friendly when she was actually holding a door open for you to walk through. It's answering her questions at face value while completely missing the emotional current flowing underneath them. Part 1, the psychology of feminine testing. To understand why these two questions are so powerful, you have to first understand a fundamental principle of feminine psychology. Women rarely express romantic interest openly and directly, especially with men they perceive as mature and experienced. Why? Because directness carries risk. For a woman, being rejected after putting herself out there isn't just a blow to her ego, it can feel like a threat to her physical and emotional safety. It activates deep-seated fears of being seen as desperate, easy, or socially awkward. So instead of a direct approach, they test you. They test your emotional steadiness, your presence, your ability to notice subtle shifts in energy, and your confidence. Feminine psychology operates beneath the surface. It's intuitive, layered, and context-dependent. It's not about logic and facts, it's about feelings and safety. When a woman starts seeing you as someone she can potentially trust emotionally, physically, and intimately, her energy changes. It shifts from casual, friendly interaction to something more focused, intentional curiosity. She begins to ask questions, but her goal isn't to collect a resume of your life. Her questions are probes designed to uncover three specific things: your strength, not physical strength, but inner strength. Are you grounded in who you are, or are you insecure and seeking validation? Can you handle the intensity of her feminine energy without crumbling or becoming defensive? Your availability, this isn't about your calendar, it's about your heart. Do you have the emotional and practical space in your life for a woman, or are you so set in your ways, so walled off by routine and habit that there's no room for anyone else to enter? Your awareness, this is the crucial filter. Are you a man who can recognize genuine interest? Or are you so dense, so caught up in your own head that she would have to hit you over the head with a neon sign to get your attention? A woman wants a man who is perceptive, who can see her. This is exactly when the two essential questions appear. They are the tools she uses to perform this evaluation. But to understand why they matter so much, you must understand the psychological truth behind them. Many men over 50 grew up in a time when communication, especially between men and women, was more direct. You asked a girl on a date, she said yes or no, but the world has changed and so have the dynamics of attraction. Women today, even mature women, express attraction in a much more nuanced way. They don't say, I'm attracted to you, I want to get closer, I'm thinking about you romantically. To do so would be to expose their vulnerability too soon. Instead, they explore. They ask carefully chosen questions to determine whether you are a safe harbor they can move toward without risking the storm of rejection. Because here's the quiet feminine fear, especially when it comes to older men. If she shows her interest too openly, she worries he'll perceive her as needy, desperate, or only after his money or stability. So she disguises her attraction as curiosity. She packages it inside questions that seem harmless, even mundane, to a man who isn't paying attention. And if you miss them, she rarely repeats the invitation. Women almost never offer the same emotional opening twice. Once a door is closed, she assumes you weren't interested and moves on, leaving you to wonder what happened. Think of it this way: women use questions the same way men use actions. When a man feels drawn to someone, he offers help, direction, support, or protection. His instinct is to do something. When a woman feels drawn to someone, she asks a question that hints at closeness. Her instinct is to know something, to feel something. There are countless questions a woman might ask in daily life, but only two appear consistently when she is gently exploring the possibility of intimacy with a mature man. She isn't asking because she's trying to investigate your life like a journalist. She asks because she wants to feel your emotional temperature. She wants to sense, is he calm or chaotic? Is he steady or easily shaken? Is he open to my presence or closed off behind a wall of politeness? Does he stand comfortably in his masculine energy, or does he hide behind people-pleasing and nervous chatter? These questions are not about facts, they are about connection. They are subtle, energetic invitations designed to create a pull between you and her. Think of them as emotional bridges she places carefully to see whether you step onto them with awareness. And when you do, when you respond to the subtext rather than just the text, everything shifts inside her. She feels seen, understood, and safe. Most men answer these questions literally. They give a date, a dump of information. But a grounded, self-aware man hears what's beneath the words, because when she asks them, she isn't collecting information. She's checking alignment. She's checking your level of consciousness. She's checking whether you're a man who perceives what lies beneath the surface. When a woman feels drawn to you, she doesn't need proof of your past achievements, your money, or your stories. She needs to feel that you are conscious, present, and emotionally calm. These two questions matter because they are not random curiosity, they are invitations to a deeper connection. Part 2, deconstructing the first question. So let's reveal the first question. The first question a woman asks a man she desires is designed to uncover one primary thing: your availability. Not your schedule availability, but the availability of your heart and your life. She wants to sense whether your world has emotional space for her. Is there a vacancy sign, or is the no vacancy light permanently on? This is not a practical inquiry, it's a psychological one. It's her way of asking, are you open or closed? Can you connect with another person on a deep level, or are you hiding behind your routines, your solitude, and your established life? Can I step closer to you without being emotionally pushed away? Women are incredibly efficient with their emotional energy. They don't like to waste it on a man who is unavailable, either because he's already in a relationship or, more commonly, because he has emotionally checked out of life. So they test for openness before they reveal any deeper interest of their own. This first question is her equivalent of a man leaning slightly closer to see whether the woman leans in or pulls back. It's a low-risk probe. But most men miss it completely because they assume it's just casual conversation, a way to fill a silence. So what is this question? It is, do you spend a lot of time alone? It sounds so simple, so harmless, but it isn't. It's a powerful test. It's her way of asking, is there room in his life for me? Is he emotionally open, or has he become closed off and rigid? Does he have the capacity for closeness, or is he sealed inside his impenetrable habits and routines? A woman may phrase it in several different ways depending on the context and her personality. She might say, do you usually go out to places like this alone? You seem like a man who keeps to himself. Is that true? You seem like you enjoy your solitude. Are you seeing anyone or just doing your own thing these days? Don't you get lonely being on your own so much? This question is never, ever about loneliness in the sense of feeling sad or isolated. It's about access. The architecture of your life. A woman only asks it after she has already in her mind begun to imagine herself somewhere near your life. She's picturing what it would be like to be a part of your world. She wants to know if entering that world would feel like being welcomed into a warm home or like trying to break into a fortress. Most men answer this question far too literally. They might say, yeah, I'm alone a lot, it's fine. Not really, I'm pretty busy. It depends on the day. Well, my kids are grown and my wife left, so yeah, it's just me. These answers are information, but they are emotionally dead ends. They don't build a bridge. A steady, self-aware man hears the subtext and responds to that. He acknowledges the reality of his situation, but frames it in a way that demonstrates openness and groundedness. A balanced, attractive response sounds like, I value my personal space and I'm comfortable in my own company, but I'm always open to sharing that space with good company. This response shows strength. I'm comfortable alone, and openness. I'm receptive to you. I have my routines that I enjoy, but I'm not rigid. I'm absolutely open to something meaningful if it feels right. This communicates stability. I have routines and intentionality. I'm looking for meaning, not just a distraction. Solitude can be powerful, but so is connection. It's all about the right person. This is a philosophical answer that shows depth and puts the focus on her as a potential right person without being needy. That tone, warmth without neediness, strength without coldness, creates a powerful magnetic pull. It answers her hidden question, is there space? With a resounding yes for the right person. And that kind of answer naturally, almost magically, leads to the second question. Part 3, deconstructing the second question. The first question was about the architecture of your life, the space you have. The second question is about the engine that drives it, your purpose. The second question she asks when she desires intimacy concerns your direction, not your career trajectory, not your financial achievements, but your inner direction, your sense of purpose, your momentum. She wants to know if your life has purpose, momentum, and masculine stability. Women do not emotionally open up to men who drift. They are not attracted to men who are simply floating through life, waiting for something to happen. They are drawn to men who are anchored, men who know who they are, where they stand, and most importantly, where they are going. This isn't about having a detailed 5-year plan, it's about having a core sense of direction. This question tells her, is this man emotionally alive? Does he move through the world with stability and intention? Can I feel safe and secure in his presence, knowing he is a rock I can lean on? Does he have strong boundaries that will protect us both, or is he just passively floating through life, a leaf on the wind? The second question isn't about the details of your job, it's about your core. When she asks it, she has already moved past simple curiosity. She is now imagining what closeness with you would actually feel like. A woman may feel attracted to a man physically, that's the initial spark. But she only moves toward him, she only invests her emotional energy when she desires his presence, his whole being. And this question becomes her doorway into sensing who you truly are at your core. So what is the second question? It is, what are you looking for these days? This is never casual, it is never small talk, it is not just making conversation, it is pure evaluation. She may phrase it in a number of ways to keep it feeling light. What direction are you moving in now? You focused on lately any new projects? What do you really want at this stage of your life? What are you looking for, like in general? So what's next for you? When a man answers this question with clarity and purpose, she feels possibility. A fire lights in her mind. She thinks, here is a man who knows himself. Here is a man I could potentially join on his journey. When he answers with uncertainty, vagueness, or complaints, she withdraws. Her interest cools. The door quietly closes. Imagine two different responses. The first, I don't know, just seeing what happens, taking it day by day, the world is crazy. The second, right now I'm focused on building a new consulting practice. It's a challenge I'm really excited about, but I'm also at a point where I want to share my life with someone who has their own passions and energy. Which man is more attractive? The second one by a mile. He has direction, he has purpose. He's excited about his life. And crucially, he leaves the door open for her, but only if she has her own passions and energy. He's not looking for a woman to complete him, he's looking for one to complement him. Here's the deeper truth that most men over 50 never fully realize: women don't desire perfection. They don't need you to have $1 million or a six-pack, they desire presence. They desire a man who is fully present in his own life with his own purpose and who can be fully present with her. These two questions measure exactly that. They measure your space and your direction. They are the radar she uses to detect if you are a safe, exciting, and viable partner. Part 4, why this matters for men over 50. These questions matter so deeply, especially for men over 50, because of the assumptions women make about them. By the time a man reaches his 50s or 60s, many women, consciously or unconsciously, make a set of assumptions about him. They assume he is set in his ways. They assume he has already lived most of his emotional life and isn't looking to create a new chapter. They assume he might be bitter, closed off, or just looking for a nurse or a purse. So they hesitate, they hold back unless they feel a powerful pull, a certainty that they won't just become another piece of furniture in a life that's already fully decorated. These two questions, soft, simple, nearly invisible, are her way of checking those assumptions. She asks, do you spend a lot of time alone? To see if you're a hermit or just a man who values his space. She asks, what are you looking for? To see if you're a man with a future or just a man with a past. You might miss a compliment. You might overlook body language, but if you miss these two questions, you miss the very moment she is opening a door to something more. And once that door closes, once she gets a vague or literal answer that signals unavailability or a lack of direction, most women never open it again. The moment passes and she files you away in the just a friend category. So when a woman wants intimacy with an older man, not just friendly conversation, but the possibility of emotional and physical closeness, she tests that potential connection with these two specific questions. They appear across all cultures, ages, and backgrounds because they come directly from the core of feminine psychology. They are the keys to the kingdom, and now you know what they look like. Recognizing these signs is the first step. But the real transformation happens when you start to embody the energy that these questions are designed to detect. It's not about memorizing clever responses. It's about becoming the kind of man who is genuinely available, emotionally steady, and purpose-driven. It's about cultivating a life that has space for a woman and a direction that she would want to be a part of. When you work on yourself, when you build a life you're excited about, when you become comfortable in your own solitude, when you clarify your purpose, you won't have to try to give the right answers. The right answers will just be the truth. Before you go, I want to ask you to support this channel and this message. If this video resonated with you, if it opened your eyes to a new way of seeing, please hit that like button. And in the comments section below, write the phrase, I see the signs. Let your presence be known. Let other men in this community see that there are those who are waking up, who are choosing to become more aware. And here's the final thought to leave you with. Women don't test your words, they test your energy, they test your presence. These two questions are just the vehicle for that test. Now that you understand them, you are no longer in the dark. You are no longer a man who will miss the signs. You are a man who sees. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.